breaking down all 22 things you missed from Survivor Season 45, Episode 8. We're talking all things. The Survivor auction finally returning. Jeff Probst becoming a supervillain. Jake going crazy. Kelly getting emotional. And much more. Going about this video, I thought, what if we just turn this into an auction video talking about the best moments of the Survivor auction this episode? Don't worry, we're still going to be recapping the episode as a whole, but we're going to be spending a little bit extra time today talking about the auction. As always, careful for any spoilers if you haven't seen the episode yet, and make sure to stick around as we announce last week's giveaway winner. If you want to enter next week's giveaway, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment down below what your favorite food item was at the auction. Let's get started with number 22, After Tribal. Gonna be feeling bad for Jake here, who attempted and failed at making a big move last episode, putting Jake in a tough spot because now Julie knows he voted for her last episode. But we first have the Sifu vote out. That group returned to camp from Tribal Council. Ultimately, Emily is all in with his Red Alliance, especially Drew, and we'll find out why a little bit later in the video. Number 21, Julie and Jake. Julie said it best, and I'm so here for it. The lines have finally been drawn in the sand of where the alliances lie. Maybe some foreshadowing with Jake being my winner pick when Julie talks about the feeling of getting votes.
It's a fun game, isn't it, Julie? Regardless of anything, it's fun, right?
Wait till you see your name.
I know, right?
You tell me how fun.
Number 20, Girls Alliance. Honestly, I didn't buy it for a second, the idea of this Girls Alliance. They're bringing it up because the girls have a 6-4 majority over the guys. Realistically, I'm sure there's conversations just like this every single day out there on Survivor. Number 19, the boys. Pretty hilarious as we cut between the girls and the boys as the girls are having a strategic conversation, but the boys are just messing around talking about food. Obviously, the talking about food is foreshadowing about the auction coming soon, leading into number 18, Players Love Food. In honor of the Survivor auction finally returning to our television screens, we need some order in the court with idle plays. Coming this week, we got options. We have the orange, we have the blue, and we have the green log mazes coming with a discount. Make sure to use the code AUCTION25 to get 25% off your log mazes. These log mazes are mini replicas from Survivor China and Survivor Cagayan. So if you're interested in checking out some of the puzzles, or you just want to help support me and the channel, please go to idleplays.com. And remember, the first 5 people to use the code AUCTION25 get 25% off their log mazes. Number 17, Twist on a Beach. And it begins. It's been 15 seasons, and just like how Idled Out said it, over 3,000 days since we last saw the Survivor auction. I hate to say it, but I'm a little bit conflicted on the auction. We have more twists coming, but for now, the money is hidden in the jungle. You need to collect the money one at a time and bring it to your basket. In theory, the harder you work, the more money you're gonna get, so the more stuff you're gonna be getting at the auction. But because of the other twists we're about to talk about, it doesn't work out that way. Hopefully for future seasons, Jeff can fix this. I like the idea of the Easter egg hunt to find your money, but I don't like what we're about to talk about. Number 16, money collecting. 100%, this scavenger hunt was fun to watch as we have Bruce being lazy, intense music, he grinding for that $900. I really thought about it for a long time and I couldn't figure out why we weren't having any bidding wars at the auction. I don't think the problem was all the players having different amounts of money. They still could have had bidding wars. The big issue we're about to talk about is Jeff Probst once again not letting the players play. Number 15, the auction. But before we talk about the bad parts of the auction, we need to talk about the good parts first, and I literally, and I'm not even joking, literally got goosebumps watching the old school montage.
Welcome to the Survivor auction. Up for bid, a variety of food items.
Number 14, updated auction. Jeff explains the auction's been updated in different ways. Money is now hidden in the jungle, there's no advantages, 15 items are prepared but only 5 guaranteed, and whoever has the most money at the end loses their vote at the next tribal council. So hot take, I love me some Survivor auction. I hope we see it again in the new era, but I hate the part of losing your vote. Number 13, the auction. The auction itself is amazing. Like, please give it to me every single season. The only part that's wrong about this is the punishment. I'll throw on screen right now all the starting money the players had so we're all aware of it. Anyway, I thought it would be fun to rank all the auction items from worst to best. Bruce losing his vote at $80. Toothbrush for Julie at $420. Pretzels and beer for Kendra at $360. Fries and soda for Kelly at $500. The covered item that wasn't switched was 2 fisheyes for Katura at $480. A slice of pizza for Austin at $600. The swapped item that ended up being candy for Drew at $520. An item bought by one person, shared by 3 was the cake for Jake at $340, shared with Julie and Bruce. The fisheyes given to Austin at $100. A milkshake for D at a grand total of $900. Margarita and a PB&J sandwich for Kelly at $200. And the best item in my opinion, the covered charcuterie board and wine for Emily at $440. Ultimately, it was really fun to watch, but with the fear of losing your vote, Jeff broke the auction again, as everyone was doing their max bid every single round. Number 12, players' thoughts. It's so weird how much we all enjoy these players eating random food. Kendra was so pumped to get her beer, leading into number 11, Kendra flashback. Again, Survivor flashbacks work when they're not forced. As Kendra talks about getting to meet her real dad for the first time, Kendra's awesome and it's a great story, but I thought it was a little bit much with the montage we had of her throughout the game. Number 10, Emily and Drew. I think it really shows where the end game is going, with Emily going to Drew about the fear of the woman's alliance. And guess what? Hai fully agrees, alliances like this just don't work. I think Emily going to Drew with this information is gonna make them tighter going into the end game. Ultimately, this is part of the reason why Drew was so conflicted before the challenge about either Bruce or Kelly. Number 9, challenge time. For today's immunity challenge, the players need to hold a rope attached to a log with 1/3 of the player's pre-game body weight as they slowly bring their hands down the rope, and the last person standing wins. But because that's not enough, we also have the rice dilemma. Number 8, rice negotiations. Although we have seen this in every single new era season of Survivor, it looks like Jeff has finally dropped the negotiation part of the negotiation. As we need 4 people to sit out of the challenge for rice, I really like the idea of doing this right after the auction, so maybe the players will actually not take the rice. We end up having Emily and Dee sit out as we get a taste of old school scary Jeff as he cuts the rice bag with a knife. We have Dee, Emily, and Drew with Katura before the bag runs out. And round of applause to Jeff here. This was my favorite version of the rice negotiation. Number 7, the challenge. Interestingly, Jake gets yelled at for bending his arm. As we continue to get savage Jeff probes this episode, we get Kelly and Kendra not able to survive the transition. I could feel the pain on those players' faces as they went to the final transition, not having the knot to hold on to anymore. The feeling of Jeff yelling at you, Jake screaming, I want to experience this so bad. As we get the final showdown of the 2 oldest players out there, Julie versus Bruce. And although Bruce lost his vote at the auction, he won the immunity challenge here. Number 6, back to camp. I'm just gonna roll the clip.
Oh my God! As soon as Bruce wins immunity, I immediately say, you gotta be kidding me.
This Bruce versus Katura war better turn into the best episode in Survivor history for how much they're hyping it up. Number 5, the plans. The producers are still trying to pretend this woman's alliance is a thing. As plan 1, we have the target moving from Bruce to Jake, with Emily worried about Bruce potentially playing his idol for Jake. And number 2, because Bruce can't be voted out, Kelly is stressed it could be her, with Bruce always saying she's his number 1. Can someone please leave a comment down below why none of these red players were targeted here? It didn't make any sense to me. Number 4, Jake idol hunt. Jake's a confusing dude. First of all, he tells the players he needs to be low-key, but then openly idol hunts, which in my opinion is 100% the correct move here when you think you're out of options. Number 3, Drew's plan. Exactly what Kelly was worried about. Drew wants to vote Kelly out of the game. And it's a genius move because it shuts down the woman's alliance. It looks like Kelly has the brains out there, and this would turn Austin's amulet into a full idol. Number 2, tribal council. So obviously with what happens at the vote out, Austin's amulet becomes a full idol and he now has 2 idols. But I'm not seeing many people talk about how Drew decides to not use his safety without power and it now being expired. We have Jake acting a little bit weird here, possibly from being burnt out, but I almost think he was playing it up.
Because if I pull out
if I pull out an idol tonight, or I decide to play a shot in the dark,
Ultimately, Jake plays his shot in the dark here, even though he didn't need to, leading into number 1, Kelly voted out. Yes, Kelly, I love how she went out of the game being pissed off at the other players. Anyways, congratulations, Nathan, you're this week's giveaway winner. I'll announce a new winner next week, and click right here for every Survivor auction ranked worst to best.